We appreciate you getting up and jumping on and joining us for our first show of Artist Unplugged Live. And matter of fact, while I'm saying that, I'm going to send this out to my followers on my personal art page. So let's do that real quick.
Oh, they have. I haven't been. When I was away,
Uh-huh.
I took a break from Instagram.
Gotcha.
And they have now changed somehow. This is all different.
They've changed everything. It took me, don't get me started. That'll be a topic one day on this show. Because yesterday it took me so long to post. What I posted last night took me longer than what it should have taken me to post what I did last night. So, yeah, I want Instagram to stop Instagramming. That's what I want Instagram to stop doing. I want them to stop Instagramming. Okay. All right. Well, it's 11:05. We're going to go ahead and get started. Some general housekeeping. If you have any questions, please put them in the question box. I think they moved it again. Yeah, they did. So if you look at the bottom by the comment box, you'll see a speak box, a speak bubble, and it has a Q in it. It's got a question mark in it. If you hit that, put your questions. That way we can tap on that and make sure we get everybody's questions at one time. Again, I can't see this far, so I will not be seeing anything that is scrolling up on the screen.
That's my job.
So if you put a question in there, I will not be the one to see it, okay? So if you can just put your questions in the question box, and then the last 15 minutes of the show, we'll go through and answer any questions. Also, we want to make sure that you guys sign up for our email list. That's to keep up with everything that Artist Unplugged Live is doing, not just show-wise, but, anything that we're involved in, anything that we can pass on to our community as far as call to art submissions, any questions that you may have, any show ideas that you may have. So if you go to the link in bio, there's a form actually in the bio. You don't have to leave Instagram in order to sign up for the email list. So just click link on bio, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the email form. And you just fill it out and send it to us, and then we can keep in touch with you guys. You also want to make sure you're following us here and on Threads. And if you're a YouTuber, you can follow us on YouTube as well. It's all Artists Unplugged Live. You want to add anything to that?
No, but I think we should introduce ourselves.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm Sharon Walker. And
I'm Lena Anderson.
And we're Artists Unplugged Live.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to do this because we met through another artist group that was virtual. And I felt like this wasn't too long after COVID. And I felt like I wanted to know artists and, get together with artists in person. And so I went through the list of people who were in that community to see who was actually in Atlanta. And Lena was one of them. Mm-hmm. And so I reached out to her, hey, I'm looking to link with artists here in Atlanta. And she responded.
And then I sent you a message and...
Yeah, it took a while. It probably took about 6 or 7 months for us to actually link and get together, but then we did. Mm-hmm. And we've been, I'd say, a support to each other since then. Definitely. And whether it is going to exhibitions together, letting each other know what's going on, linking each of us to our other artist groups and creating an even larger community. Mm-hmm. That has happened as well. And so we were at an exhibition, and we just started talking, and you know what, we should. And we just started firing with each other. We should do this, and we could talk about that, and we can have this topic, and we can name it Artists Unplugged Live. And that's how we wound up here today. So we are, this is our first one. Mm-hmm. And we're really excited about this because excited about what it can mean for others, what it can mean for us as well. Sharing what we learned and helping others either create a community wherever they are in the world or joining community if you're local here in Atlanta. But yeah, so that's who we are and that's how we got here. And today I'll be looking down because I do have a paper because, kind of to stay on track. So we went through how we met, our purpose, our mission, and I meant to put the mission on this paper, and but I didn't. But the mission is in actually.
Oh, please, we go to our trusty Instagram.
Yes, we can.
Again, first show, give us some grace.
Yes,
and this is not meant to be a formal show. So this is not to be stiff and formal. And if you've seen our promo videos, we're cracking up, and that's what it's meant to be. It's not meant to be just so informative. This isn't class. It's meant to get to know you guys, for you guys to know us, for us to communicate, not just during the shows once a month, but again, through our threads group, and through the email and whatever else comes of this in the future as far as community and us communicating and being a support system to each other. So, okay, our vision. All right. So our vision, I have my iPad. Our vision, Artists Unplugged Live cultivates a dynamic and inclusive online community where artists from all backgrounds can flourish. Our mission is to empower artists to achieve their goals and make a lasting impact on the world through art. That's what we are.
That's what we are. And lofty goals?
No. I don't think they're lofty.
No,
I don't think they're lofty. I think they're very realistic and achievable.
I agree. And so that is our mission and our vision.
Well, that was our vision, our values.
Our values. Okay.
Our values: personal growth and achievement, community and relationships, creativity and innovation, diversity and inclusion. So this really is, we want to be global with this. This is not just an Atlanta local. This is not meant to just to stay online. Online is where we're starting. And again, like, I'm not putting us in a box. I don't think either one of us are putting us in a box.
Absolutely not.
So
as a matter of fact, we don't like boxes.
We don't like boxes.
Yeah, of any form.
No, we don't. So this is really to be a long-lasting community that years beyond, that is still a support system, whether not just within us collectively, but whatever breakoffs like us, we met on someone else's community platform. And outside of that community platform, we became in-person friends. And then throughout, we have our community that we, support each other here in Atlanta. So that's the goal for us as well. As with added things with education and just other things, all the things. I say all the things.
Yeah. I also see Paul joined us. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Glad you're here. I know, since it's just a few of us, I'll share that Paul is having an exhibition opening today. So we will be leaving here to go there to support him. Right? That's what we do. So if any of you are in the Atlanta area and are can come out, Paul's exhibition is at the library downtown.
The Fulton County.
The Fulton County
Correct,
main
Paul?
library.
Paul, put it in the chat.
Put it in
the chat.
So we can have
I believe it's the Fulton County Library.
Yeah.
And it's from 2 to 5.
Yes.
And speaking of support in that sense, support is not just, showing up, and support comes in many forms. We're supporting by going to help set up. If that means you're going to set up, you're going to, show up, you're sending it out to your community. Even if you can't come, if you know someone else who loves art exhibits, art openings, send it to them. Like, oh, I can't go, but let me send this to my sister because I know she'll go.
Right.
So support and all the things. So, Paul, if you could put that info in the chat so we can make sure we send them to the right library, that would be great. Oh,
there we are. Central Library in Fulton County, Margaret Mitchell Square. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Great.
GPS.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. So we've gone through purpose, mission, and vision. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of community, of an artistic community, because particularly being an artist, and you're solo, you're doing a lot of your work alone, locked up in a studio or wherever you do your work. And, I think as well, your work really does well or even better when you are meeting other people, meeting other artists, seeing what other artists are doing, and it can now, affect in good ways how you do your own work and coming up with new ideas and collaborating even. So there are, many, many reasons. So one is support and encouragement. Like, we said we will be going out to support Paul. Encouragement. I know I get encouragement. I'm sorry, I just hit my mic.
I would say give us a minute to get used to the mics if we're hitting and
whatnot. I use my hands. So my hands may go crazy. So anyway, support and encouragement for what you're doing. Sometimes I know I can personally have some doubts about what I'm doing, which way I'm heading. Am I doing the right thing? And it helps to have someone when you are doubting yourself to be able to say, what do you mean? I have an artist friend who says, what do you mean? You got into this exhibition and that exhibition and whatever. And I go, yeah, I guess you're right, but it helps to have someone bolster you. When you're feeling a little, discouraged or disheartened.
I think it also helps in fostering your ideas, or when we as artists tend to get into our heads. We tend to overthink things, especially if you are attending art openings, you're seeing different types of art. You think about the piece that you didn't show anybody because you didn't think it was enough. It wasn't whatever. It wasn't flamboyant enough. It wasn't exciting enough. It wasn't this. It's only got one color on it, so it's not really a piece of art. And then you get to an exhibit, you see other pieces that got into exhibitions or got into shows that might have red dots on them. And then you start to think like, okay, why do I keep stopping myself? Or, you know what, I really should have pursued that idea. And I think it helps within having a community to help you foster those ideas. I'm starting a new body of work. I grew up crocheting and knitting and doing macrame and doing all of the arts and crafts. I never once thought to take that and make it into art. Like I'll knit scarves, I knit blankets. I knit just to knit. I have so many unfinished projects because I just knit to knit. It may not turn into anything. I might take it apart and make it a ball again and start over. But I never thought of the fiber art genre. It just never occurred to me. And a random conversation with somebody in our community, when they found out I crochet and knit, they were like, so why are you not showing that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I never thought about it. And then through conversation, through them and another person in our community, and then Sharon, everybody's like, what is happening? Why are we not seeing this? Why are you not doing it? And now I'm opened up to focusing on that and creating a new body of work around that. So I do think within that support, it's not just showing up in the sense of shows and things like that, but also making sure that you have that community that if you feel comfortable enough to like throw something out and they'll, help you foster it. Or even you have a community that listens enough that when you say something, they're like, whoa, before you finish that sentence, why are you not doing that? What is stopping you from doing that and making you think through the process to help you decide how you're going to do it, opposed to whether or not you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So another part of or benefit from being in an artistic community is belonging. You know, having somewhere where you can belong. It's a great feeling to, you know, have someone call and say, "Are you going to X exhibition? Do you want to ride together?" You know, just being thought of and being included is great. in a word, great. And and that really can happen. And you know, maybe not in every group it happens, but it's also about finding and creating a group that really works for you and who you are, and you know, your type of work. And it helps as well to even be with artists whose work is very divergent from yours, because that can help expand your mind even more. So, well, that moves into shared experiences, or not experiences. Shared experiences in, you know, what may happen that may be alike, but sharing experiences to help you broaden what you know, how you think, and so forth. So,
and I think with that, it also shared experiences in the sense of your studio practice. You know, how can you, so many people want to gatekeep and they're afraid that, well, if I tell you how I mixed my paste, then you're going to be more successful than me. And it's like, it's paste. You know, you can share a technique unless it's proprietary. You can share a technique and no one's gonna, you know, if you're afraid that someone's going to steal from you and they're in your group, they shouldn't be in your group.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember going to an artist talk by Sonia Clark, and she is an amazing artist. In many genres of art. She doesn't limit herself to just painting, for example. And one of the things she said is the importance of collaboration. And, you know, collaboration can be many things. You can actually collaborate on a piece together. But she spoke of collaboration she had this artwork made from combs, hair combs. And there was a museum in Texas that wanted it, and they had to, you know, had to raise the money for it. And they collaborated with young children who raised, you know, a little bit of money here and there, and it all came together, and they were able to purchase this piece. And in those young children and everyone in the community donating, she then donated a portion of her work for it to happen. So there are many ways collaboration can work, and having a community from which you can begin the process. You know, you're sitting down, talk. This is a collaboration, right? Yeah. This happened because of a collaboration. And so, it's only when you're together and you're talking and having ideas and sharing ideas that, that it happens, that, and it really works, you know? So, professional support or encouragement. Did we talk about encouragement? We did a little bit. Yeah, providing motivation, inspiration, and support. Again, that's our word today, I guess.
And encouragement, and encouraging your people to put themselves out there. There's so many times that, you know, Sharon has encouraged me. She's like, no, just do it. I start overthinking it. She's like, just do it. You know what I mean? There's another friend. We have to encourage her to get out the house. Like, okay. We might see her today, we may not.
Right.
But that is my, with her, it's always encouraging her to come out, you know what I mean? And she does. And when she does, she's like, I'm glad I came, because she's an artist as well. And she's met other artists, and now she's, talking to people and whatnot. So it's just the encouragement, not just within your work, but to stay active within your community and your city, whether that means going to art openings, going to art parties, just, even if you swing by for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you do the Anna Winter would have her driver drop her off and tell him to drive around the block and come back and pick her up in 15 minutes. But let me tell you what, Anna Winter would show up to an opening of an envelope. Yeah. She was there. Yeah. She might be there for 15 minutes, but she was there. So, yeah. So just even with that, getting out, and it's encouraging when you see the same people. You're going to always see new people, but I like it now that I've been going out more. And I didn't really start going out more until we met and with our friend group. Now I make a point to actually go out, and I've been in Atlanta for 30 years. And so it's encouraging when I start seeing like, oh, I remember them from such and such show. Or when they come to me and they're like, hey, we met at such and such show. Yeah.
Or when you walk in, like that Cheers effect. You know, hey, Lena, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. And that's how you meet. We have in Atlanta, there's a young man, he's a collector. It wasn't until about the third time I saw him, I thought he was an artist. And then I was like, wait, are you an artist? I said, well, he goes, no, I'm a collector. He makes sure he supports by going to as many art shows as he can. And he'll jump around in one night just to show his face and see the work. And he, may or may not purchase, but we now start to see him as like, we see him all the time now. Yeah. And he's just, they're like, no, I just want to come and support. I've heard about this artist and hadn't seen their work in person and just want to come and see it. So there's just a lot of ways to just be that, again, emotional, encouraging support system.
Yeah. Yeah. So professional support. And there are a few things here. Mentorship is one. Mm-hmm. You can choose who you would like to mentor, and it can be as formal an arrangement as you like or informal as you like. But just having someone who's been around or been, we have a friend who's been an artist for like 25 years. Mm-hmm. and it has a different perspective. And, I remember the first time I met him, he came into my studio and he's like, oh, okay. So what is it that you're saying? I see that you're using words a lot, and I see that you're this. And I had never looked at my work in that way. I never thought about it in that way. Mm-hmm. And okay, so there it is. All of a sudden there's an opening. And so, but mentorship can go even further, where they're suggesting, apply for this and do mm-hmm. that and mm-hmm. do this and do that, and encouraging in that way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And constructive criticism, which is another one. I've been in groups where we actually critique each other's work. And that one, you really have to be in a group of people that you trust, mm-hmm. Because there's a correct way of critiquing. And I usually don't use the word correct, but in this instance, correct is the right word, because you never want to just tear something down. For example, you want to give the feedback in what works and what doesn't work so well. And have you thought of this? And that kind of thing. So I always enjoyed being in that type of group. I'm not in a group like that right now, where I don't want to get into why. I can be very lax in getting work done. So to bring work to a group once a month can be a challenge for me. But it's great to see someone else's point of view on your work before you may be actually finished with it. And so you can get some other thoughts, mm-hmm. and, it may even, and it helps your work get better. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So constructive criticism, and then there's networking. And, again, going out, opportunities to meet people that you hadn't met before, laying groundwork. You can go to a gallery and you may meet the owner, proprietor, and you can begin to build a relationship, because these things, sometimes it can happen in an instant where they're like, yes, I want you. I haven't experienced that, but um, one day I would like to. But it is laying the groundwork of relationships and finding, the place where your work would really work in a particular space, you know? Yeah, so that is networking. I don't know if you have anything to add.
And networking is great. You're I think over the years, being in Atlanta for 30 years, networking, the word has actually, been overused and oversaturated, whatnot. But networking in the sense of just having your conversations, just simple conversations,
Yeah.
Passing information. Now everybody's, instantly, are you on Instagram? You know what I mean? And if you're not, that's fine. You don't have to be, but having a way for people to communicate with you, because opportunities come up that I'm like, they're either not for me because it's not my wheelhouse in that particular what they're looking for. But I'll instantly think of somebody else. It's like, I don't do woodwork, but if I see something about woodwork, I'm going to recommend our friend, you know what I mean? Because that's what they do. They do woodwork. And so networking, just having conversations, putting things, in your mental file cabinet, that if you think of somebody, at some point, somebody's going to think of you. And it's kind of that give and take of being in a community and having that, again, support system. For me, we were at a show and there was a piece that had a loom, and again, fiber arts. And I knew at some point I would have to start looking at looms and frameworks and things like that. And so I happened to mention it to a friend who does woodwork. I said, oh yeah, I need to get a loom. They already had it in their mind that they were building it for me. We hadn't even had a conversation about me getting a loom. But when I mentioned, she said, oh yeah, I'm building that for you. I'm like, oh, well, all right. Thanks. But it's that sense of community that we've got each other back. It's like, if I got it, you got it. You know what I mean? Type of a deal.
Yeah.
Because we know when you are in the studio working by yourself, and if you're not in a group that you get, critiques, you're in a group where you specifically go so they can critique your work. You're by yourself. You're in your head. You're trying to figure things out. We know we have to step away from our work. And then in addition to, you have the business side of it, or you have the supply side of it, or you've got I can't do this piece because I need to get XYZ drill. And when you've got that system of people, or that community of people that's like, no, you don't have to get anything. I've got it. When you want to come by and pick it up, or I can drop it off tonight. So like, it's support and encouragement is so much bigger than just I'm showing up when somebody else has a show, or let me shoot somebody a DM saying like, hey, submit for this. It's like, there's so many ways that you can show support, and to a point where it becomes very natural. Like, it was very natural for her to say, I never once thought to ask her, hey, you know what? You do woodwork. Would you be interested in, or could you, or can we talk about, like, in her mind, it was an automatic, oh no, I'm building that for you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
I'm glad you said that about networking. That word is overused, because I never used to like that word, networking, because I felt I was really bad at it. Right. And, over the years in business, I just didn't know what to say to who and where or whatever. And what I changed networking into was just speaking to people who looked interesting to me, who I know I'm the person that'll come into a room and talk to everyone and say, I've never met that person before, and walk over and go and meet them. Yeah. But I feel comfortable doing it as well, because it's already an art space, right? And so if you're not there to talk about art, then
why are you there?
Right. Right.
And she's very much that person. She's very much the person that we will be somewhere and we'll be talking, and then it's kind of like, it's like wait, why am I talking to you? I talk to you all the time. I haven't talked to them. And she'll just walk off. And she's like, I don't know who they are. She'll just walk off. Hi, I'm Sharon. What's your name? What do you do? What kind of art do you do? So she's
Yeah.
very much that person that is like her radar is very much,
Yeah.
trying to meet everybody in the
Actually,
room.
I'm seeing Paul say that he prefers the word schmooze.
Schmooze.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I
Yeah,
like the word
I like that
schmooze.
one too.
I like the
I
word
guess I
schmooze.
schmooze.
Yeah.
I think that could qualify for what I do.
And I think over the years, I know just business wise, when you're thinking like corporate wise, especially Atlanta. With Atlanta, when I first moved here, everybody was a producer because So Def and LaFace Records were based here. So back then, everybody was a producer. Oh, I'm a producer. What do you do? I'm a producer. Everybody's a producer. What are you producing? Like, and then we turned into like, I noticed over the pandemic, everybody became an esthetician. I'm also a licensed esthetician. I've been licensed for almost 20 years. Then, so there's this shift in Atlanta that everybody becomes. And so when you would go to these networking events like Sharon, I always felt like I was bad at it. I am not the person that walks into the room and say, hey, everybody, I'm here. I'm sliding in and then you'll see me over. Wait, I didn't know you were here. And I've been there for like 30 minutes. So I am not that person, but she is. So I'm more on the shy. I'm a quieter spirit, I say. And so I never really liked networking with the whole, hey, how you doing? Where's your business card? Let's exchange, because just the culture of whatever was popping at the time, that's what everybody was. So I think I've stopped using the word networking because of that connotation. However, it's just basically schmoozing. And really, it's just being friendly and meeting people you haven't talked to before. Like at the end of the day, it's just striking up a conversation, learning something new about somebody else, and then exchanging information. They may not be a good fit for you, but again, later on, somebody might be like, oh, wait a minute. You know what? So-and-so should meet so-and-so. I think that would be a great connection for them to do whatever they figured out, whatever they need to do. You know what I mean?
And I think as well, it's, not everyone has the gift of gab or the gift of schmoozing. It doesn't come naturally to them, but there is whatever comes naturally to you, build on that, build on the thing, that if you are a connector, like you were just talking, if you're the person who thinks, oh, you see something and someone else was looking for it, maybe you're that person. Maybe you're the person to connect people. And then you have your opening to talk to someone, I think this could be a whole show,
Yeah, definitely.
discussing this topic. But I think it's important to know what is my strength. And I have a whole thing about strength, because then on the other side is weaknesses, and I don't really like going down that road. What I like to focus on is, what do I enjoy? I enjoy talking to people. Not all the time. I don't like I'll say sometimes I'm supposed to go somewhere and it's like, that Sharon is not available today. Right? So I don't go. And, but you wouldn't know that side of me unless you know me really well. You wouldn't know. You would just think I'm not there. I'm not there because the energy and everything that I need to be there, I don't have available. So it's that too, it is, choosing your spaces, your places, your people, and your conversations. Yeah. So
definitely.
Yep. So you know what? I have reached the end of this page, and we weren't sure how long, because again, this is the first time, how long this would go. So I know so questions. We can move on to questions.
Let me see if there's anything.
Yeah, I know.
No questions.
No questions.
Yep, no questions.
But I know Cheryl had made a comment about my voice, because she knows me really well. And she said my voice was getting deeper as I was talking. So I don't know why it was strange. Cheryl, I don't know, is it still strange? I don't know if it's the mic, where the mic is placed. I don't know if you're able to comment on that.
I was thinking you were passionate about something.
Oh,
Yeah, because you know how some people their voice goes high. The
yeah,
same thing for those of us who naturally have a deep. I naturally have a deep voice. Like
yeah,
this is my natural. I think my natural level.
yeah,
And then just depending on what I'll either go. If I'm up, if
yeah.
you hear me go high pitched, I'm upset. So
Well, it's also funny because it's like I hear in my head when I'm talking, I hear myself one way, and then when I hear the recording, I'm like, I can't listen to this. I can't listen to this. So that's an interesting phenomenon
right.
too.
Well, it's that there's the videos now that oh, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for all the hearts. All the hearts, all the hundreds. Thank you so much. But there's some videos going around, reels going around where it's like how I think I sound, and the person is, speaking, and then it's like they hear the recording. It's a really thick Jamaican accent or a really thick Nigerian accent. And so it is that thing. We hear one thing, and then you hear the recording. You're like, no.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Paul. The deeper and the smokier, the better.
Oh.
Thank you. I like that. Yeah. So, I don't know.
We don't have.
I think we
have no
are
questions. So what do we do?
Thank you.
What are we doing moving forward? Let's just do
Okay, so we are we will be having a live conversation every third Saturday at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be putting out our topic, the week before,
Mm-hmm.
and sending out reminders and so forth. We will be posting this on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
so all the old lives will be available there. And what else? Anything else?
That's really it. We already said to join the email list. Make sure you're following us on Threads. And again, YouTube. So the replays will be on YouTube. Make sure you share with everybody, repost, reshare, tag, like, all the things. We need, of course, we need engagement. So, that helps us with engagement, and that helps us to grow, to build this into what we want it to be.
Yeah. And we want this to be a real community where there's engagement and exchange among the people who are joining with us as well. So, we're leading the charge, but it really is about the community that we wish to create and be a part of.
And I would love it even with on our, if it's post appropriate or on Threads. If you're in another city and you see opportunities, post it. That's the whole point of the community. It's not just about us talking. You know what I mean? And we can tell you all the submissions and open calls here in Atlanta, but if you're in Denver, that doesn't help you. So if you are somewhere else, out the country, if you're wherever, if you're somewhere else and you see opportunities for other artists, please we encourage you to share it. Again, under a post or through Threads or just some way, or if you DM us and we can post it, you know what I mean? We want it to not just be like this online every third Saturday community. We really want to grow and be active on a daily basis within the community.
Yeah. But I'll also say, don't necessarily limit it, because I saw an art call here in Atlanta, and the title of the exhibition reminded me of an artist friend who lives in Virginia. And she applied and she drove down and she got accepted and she drove down and submitted her work. But one, that's an example of community and support. And
Our field.
And also, an example of, I said example of community. I've lost my train of thought, so I'm going to end it there.
Were you talking about art fields?
I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Here in Atlanta.
Well, I'm going to speak on art fields real quick. So, an example of community coming together and it going beyond the actual city. We went to Art Fields, which is in Lake City, South Carolina. I have never heard of it before. I was so impressed with it that I came home and did more research on it and did not realize that this was its 12th year. I didn't think it was new, but I didn't know it was 12 years old. And they do art throughout the year, but their big thing is an art exhibition and competition once a year.
Week long
for a year. And, you know, we had we drove down, Sharon and, one of our other friends had, pieces in the exhibition. And then once we got there, we saw other Atlanta artist pieces, and one of them won a Merit Award.
Yes.
Then we saw other people who were in Georgia. You had people from South Carolina, people from Florida. You had people from all over that showed in the show. And the community, what makes it so communicative is Lake City is a small city. The art literally took over the whole city. It's all about the art during that time. And people drove down into, like, well, you know, we drove down because Sharon had a piece there and she had to pick up her piece. But outside of that, I think I would have drove down regardless.
Yeah, like, I will go.
I'll go regardless.
It's actually what it is. It's like a very small town that was probably dying off. And someone said, I'm going to revive this town and we're going to do it through art. And like Lena said, it's the 12th year, but shops open, they move furniture, they hang art everywhere. They have like, 15 or 20 different locations, all hanging with art. It's really amazing. It's something, you know, well, next year we will recommend going.
Submitting.
I'll be submitting.
Yes, I will.
I don't know if I'll get in, but again, but I would go anyway. It's an amazing experience.
And it's so much art that we miss two of the districts. They have them in districts. Kind of sounds like the Hunger Games. But but there's so many. They have them blocked off in districts, and there's this huge map, and you walk around to the different districts, and it's so much art that we actually didn't get to see two of the districts
because we went for one day, not realizing you need at least 2 days.
I would recommend
maybe three.
I recommend 3
to see and really appreciate all of the art. Yeah,
but it was just nice to see their community, Lake City community, as a whole, because it's volunteer based, and a lot of the volunteers were not artists, but they volunteered to be a part of it. And then as we're walking around, hearing the different conversations and people saying, oh no, I drove down just specifically for this. I've never been before. I heard about it or saw a post about it and just decided to get in the car and drive down. And it's amazing. So, you know, again, that sense of community of you've got this, it's not an art city per se, you know what I mean? But they've used art to revive their city and bring their community together. And then let other people outside of South Carolina know who they are and put them on the map.
And create more community.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely. So, so I don't have anything else.
I don't either.
And so again, Paul will be having his exhibition. Paul, we will see you in about 45 minutes.
Yes.
And, you know, what is the next third Thursday?
The next third Thursday, let's see. Let's look that up. While you look that up. Yes, so make sure you're following us on artists here on Instagram, because we post everything there. And what's the next third Saturday?
It's July 20th.
July 20th. Okay.
Yeah. So right, we will be here at 11 o'clock.
11.
So if you can come and join us, we'd love to have you.
Make sure you share this out. Make sure you share the replay out. Make sure you watch the replay. All the things.
Yep. And thank you for joining us. Michelle, I see you're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's been great. For each of you who know us, we would love your feedback and suggestions. You know,
and topic suggestions.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, and hope to see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.